It was a unique gift, from its special place in Southampton's history to its focal point celebrating the life of Cedar School's former pupil Alan Linton. But when a cold, calculating group of vandals took it upon themselves to strip this minibus of nearly every part of its physical makeup, they went beyond just stealing parts of a van to use or sell elsewhere. They attacked the very heart of the school's community. Amongst a floor of shattered glass, a solitary suite is the sole reminder that this shell of a vehicle was just days ago delivering children to educational trips across the region. The school's head teacher could scarcely believe what he encountered when he arrived shortly after 7 a.m. that morning.
I thought initially, if I'm honest, that there was a problem with the vehicle in terms of breaking down, and maybe they were looking at trying to get it started. We had a trip out actually that day, so that's what my initial thought was. Walked across, another colleague was there as well, and they were just horrified with the bus. And the closer I got, realised that it'd been absolutely devastated. Yeah, it was quite a shock really, because the extent of the damage was such an extreme thing. Really, it wasn't vandalised, it wasn't burnt out, it hadn't been damaged in that way. It had been systematically stripped of parts, and it was hard to sort of get my head around what that was about really.
Many of the children at Cedar have complex special educational needs. Helping them grasp an understanding of the situation has proved a difficult task.
Obviously, our young people have sort of very sort of complex needs. So some of our young people have physical needs, health needs, but also particularly learning needs in this case, because it's quite hard to explain what's happened in terms of the unfairness of that. All they can see is that their bus is broken. So they and of course, because adults were very animated, they obviously picked up a different sort of vibe and an atmosphere in the school. So I was talking to one young man about it, and he said he just couldn't understand why they would do it. He kept asking me why, and it was as a grown up, as a teacher who meant to sort of be able to educate our young people, hard to put that into a context really. It's hard to explain it really. So as children do, they kept asking the question why, and it was difficult to answer because I'm not sure what the answer is really. So yeah, they were very disappointed, very upset.
I spoke to a couple of the pupils about their reaction and concerns in the wake of the events.
Was a little bit shocking really, and we never really get anything like that happening to our school. I was like thinking about it the whole time, like why would they do such a thing like that really?
I was quite confused because obviously the mentality of the people who have done that, and also it had to have been premeditated obviously, because you wouldn't have just walked in and thought, hey lads, you see that bus, let's strip it. So they must have been watching when we came into school, when we left school, when the building was being watched and things like that. So, and also just the effect it would have had obviously on us and on the community. They clearly weren't thinking about that, so it's kind of confusing and worrying.
For Jonathan and his school, the nature of the attack and the remorselessness of the bus's demolition will have an ongoing impact, but it's a setback they are determined to overcome.
I don't understand it. I think that's the thing, I don't understand it. It's a terrible thing to say, but I sort of would have preferred in some ways for it to be stolen or burnt out, because that seems to be the more, we're sort of a bit desensitised to that. That's what we expect, and unfortunately I still don't understand that kind of mindset, but that's just, but to strip something and to be that sort of brazen about things is quite concerning, I think, really. It seems very, if I may say, professional crime, and that worries me. That worries me. And some of the bits they took, bulbs out of the lights and the cap from the oil tank, they aren't big money. Those bits aren't big money, and I don't know what I'd say to them. I'm just very disappointed. Some people are very angry here, very, very cross and angry here. I'm just disappointed. I'm very saddened and disappointed about it really. Perhaps I should get cross and angry, but I just know that working with young people that we have here, anger and and those sort of things don't tend to work with our young people. We've got to be positive. We've got to and our young people are so good at making the best out of their situations. So I think that's what we're trying to do here, really.
Ben Treppus for That's Solent.